If you have products to sell in Squarespace, whether they are digital, physical, or services, memberships, whatever you want to sell, you can, if you want more payment options, use something like ThriveCart. It can be tricky though. If you have ThriveCart or you're looking at ThriveCart for more payment options because Squarespace doesn't give you the functionality that you're looking for, and you're trying to decide if ThriveCart is the right answer for you, then today's video hopefully will help clarify that for you and show you how to link them together, because it's not hard, but it's not gonna happen the way you think. So before I dive into that, if we haven't met before, my name is Caitlin. I run Launch the Damn Thing. I am a Squarespace web designer and educator, and I love to nerd out on bullshit like this that most people probably won't fiddle with. But ThriveCart and Squarespace are two of my favorite platforms, two of my favorite softwares. So on that note, let's quit wasting time and dive right in. First, give you an overview of how this actually works and why someone would choose to use ThriveCart as an addition to something like Squarespace, which does technically already have e-commerce features. A good example of that would be if you wanted to sell something with multiple payment plan options or split payment options or a subscription on a service like members areas in Squarespace, but that are different options for the same membership based on different payment billing cycles maybe, or something like that. With Squarespace, members areas specifically can only have currently one type of payment option. So if you have a members area, you can either have it free, you can have it on subscription, and there's one other option I can't think of right off the top of my head, but you can't have a combination of those things. And this is the same case in Squarespace Commerce, where the products themselves don't have multiple options necessarily, unless you can link your shop up to something like ClearPay or Afterpay or something like that through whichever payment processor you're using, which is heavily dependent on which country you're in and accessing Squarespace from. So there are a lot of variables in here, and those are all reasons why you might be considering using a different tool to collect the payment for something you're showing in Squarespace. So the positive about being able to do this, and you can do this really with anything. It doesn't have to be ThriveCart. Like, for instance, Stripe invoices are free. And potentially you could create products and stuff like that and get an invoice link to a particular thing that you already set up in something like Stripe or PayPal or Square, and then link that to a button in Squarespace. They can pay somewhere else that way too. Doesn't have to be ThriveCart, but what ThriveCart really does well is the entire checkout system. What happens when they click this? What happens when they don't click that? Do you want customized cart pages? Do you want to customize cart embeds? Do you want to customize cart buttons with a pop-up cart? Do you want to customize the behavior that happens? Do you want to link that to your email marketing platform and those kinds of things? So it's a more robust solution. It's time to actually show you what I'm talking about and how it actually can apply to a website. So let's take a look at that next. So this is a demo site with very little, if any, custom code. All my plugins are disabled, I think. So this should be the closest to what you are looking at. And what I actually did was I created a page in my not linked section using page layouts and pre-designed new section layout. So let's say that this page is a services page where I would like to embed a checkout process for someone to see this service and pay for it, all without involving me like manually sending an invoice of some sort. So you need to keep in mind that however you use this process, whatever they're paying for needs to be something that is not going to somehow take your time, whatever the service is. So for example, if this was a sales page for coaching or something like that, where it would require my one-on-one attention, you would not want to do something like this without limiting the number of people who can pay for it, because potentially speaking, You could accidentally have 1,000 people book this for 1 week or 1 month or 1 year, and you can never get to that many people. You can never give that many people your individual attention. So let's keep that in mind as we build this out. This will be more for like a digital product. This is a better example to get started with that first. Something that is unlimited in inventory that will not require you to manually send them copies of anything or give them your one-on-one personal attention. So this is our fake sales page. And we've got a top section here. That button could perhaps jump down to the section where the cart actually is if you wanted. You could have some details about the service. You could have a call out with a quote or a review from someone who's tried it or reviewed it in the past. More details, maybe an FAQ drop down. And then I just added this pre-designed layout and then deleted the thing in the middle so that we can embed the cart here in this section. And then below that is just the footer. Now, this is not a tutorial that's showing you how to design a sales page. This is nowhere near the length of the sales page that I would design, but we needed to have something for example purposes, and this will fit the bill for this particular tutorial to show you how and when to embed and where to go for each step. So let's focus on that and go into edit mode. First of all, you need to have kind of a general idea of where you're going to put this thing and what it's going to be for. How you actually do that would be to add a block and choose embed most likely, or a button that has a link to a full page cart that is not on this page. So either one of those options will work. Squarespace is perfectly capable of handling that without using a lick of code that you have to write. So now that you know that, let's head over to ThriveCart. So we're going to create a new product. This is where you can choose either digital or physical. I'm going to do a digital product. We're going to create a brand new one. From here, we'll do demo product, demo product. So this is the product name as other people will see it on the cart and in the invoice. The URL, which is part of the checkout, and the label, how I see it on my account. So for this one, I'm going to put embed here because the first version of this that we make will have an embed cart, and I want to remember that. So I'm going to name it Embed because I'm going to give this one a checkout design that it can be embedded. I'm going to leave it in test mode so we can test it out, and we're going to go to the next stage. First thing you'll need to do is set your currency, whatever you want to charge for this product. I'm going to keep it on US dollars. I'm going to set the price. We're going to do a one-time fee of $37. No trial period. Send an invoice on the initial purchase. So we want to send them a receipt basically. And then it says your customer will be charged $37 immediately. And we're not going to set the quantity, but if this was for something that had some one-on-one aspect to it, this is where you could say, yes, limit it to 5. And that would mean literally only 5 people could purchase it. And then after that, it would not let future people purchase after the 5. But for a digital product, it would be templatized, so that wouldn't matter. So we'll do next, and this is how the pricing option will be listed for people. And I only want to allow one purchase at a time. Sure, why not? Let's do that and then do save. So now we have one-time payment option for $37. Now, if this product was $150 and you wanted to split it, for example, into 2 payments of $75, you could do that by adding more pricing options. And you just go through the cycle and add as many as you want to the same product. That will give the customer lots of options for purchasing the product, and you don't have to create multiple products in order to do that. In Squarespace, you would. So we're going to leave it at the $37 just to keep this tutorial simple, but hopefully you can figure that out because it's the same process as I just showed you by just adding more pricing to it. Just make sure that when you do, you change the pricing name, how it's displayed to the customer after you've done a second one. Sometimes it gets a little bit quirky and will keep the original one, and you don't want them all to say $37 when they're not $37. Turn on or off calculating sales tax if you want to do that. And you can turn this box on if you want to customize the way the invoice shows up for them. So here is where you can choose the colors that would show up on the invoice. And you can actually add text here in this text box that'll show up kind of underneath the total price and above that line there, if I remember correctly. And then you can also add bottom text, which I think shows up somewhere down here. If you want to say something like, this is going to be the link to your student login or something, or this is going to be the link to your template, your Google Doc template, your Notion template, your ClickUp template, whatever it is. You can do that too if you want to. I do not, in this case, want to have a bump offer. A bump offer, if you're unfamiliar with the term, is basically just an extra checkbox that lives on the actual cart for this product that says, do you want to add this extra thing? And if they check the box for that, if I've turned it on to start with, then it will add whatever the price tag is for that extra thing to the total invoice. So this is not one of those like things where it says purchase and then it takes you to another page and it says, hey, before we finish the checkout, do you want to add this extra thing? That's an upsell. Bump offers are displayed before they ever decide to start the purchase process, if that makes sense. I'm not going to do a bump offer on this particular one. So I'm going to hit next. ThriveCart recently added extra options for payments in Stripe and PayPal. So I'm going to do Stripe and I'm going to select my account and I'm going to activate PayPal as an additional option for them to check out. So we're going to go to next. I'm not going to turn on affiliates for this because I have not set that up for myself yet. So I'm not going to walk you through that process. Next goes from the product tab to the fulfillment tab. So we've talked about the product details. Now we're moving into how it will be fulfilled. We told ThriveCart at the beginning, this is going to be a digital product. So now we are telling them what we will actually give them as the digital product. So you can type in your support email. We'll just do hi@example.com. What should happen after the purchase? This is up to you, depending on how you want the process to go. The easiest thing is to send them to a URL wherever the digital product lives, whether that's a Google Doc, whether that's a template link in Notion where they can duplicate it to their account, whatever it is, Dropbox file. Okay, so you can do a link. You can add them to a membership site. This answer would be something that you have already connected, or if you have the ThriveCart Learn portion where you've upgraded for that access. Learn comes with Pro. So the way ThriveCart pricing works right now is there's ThriveCart Regular, which is like the basic $4.95 or whatever. You can upgrade to Pro, which comes with the basic Learn. And then if you upgrade to Learn Plus, that's the last upgrade that's currently available. So if you get ThriveCart Pro with Learn Plus, you've upgraded to everything they can offer you. So it depends on how you're set up with them and what your personal plan is. If you have access to Learn, then your membership area could just be your student portal, like wherever your dashboard is that you have courses listed. If, however, you're using something like Teachable, you'd have to integrate that first in order to select this, because then you have to tell them where to go. The last thing, and maybe the second least complex option, would be to display their total invoice, which is like a success page, and you can put whatever you want on that, including links, buttons, whatever. So let's keep it on that option so you can see the default thing that they give you. And then we're going to click next. Now we're on checkout. So we've done product, we've done fulfillment, and now we're on checkout. In the checkout, you can select the type first before you start designing. So a standard checkout will be a full page checkout with its own link. This will work great for any website builder because you can always use a button that points to this standalone page, right? This is a common option for people that use ThriveCart. If you happen to be a little bit wary of like embedding codes and that kind of thing, or if you want a particularly robust cart page, then this is probably a good option because the embeddable and the pop-up carts are much more minimal. Okay, so we're going to do an embeddable cart because that's the whole purpose of this tutorial. And if we click next, we're going in the checkout section under type over to design, and we can launch the editor to start from scratch with the default stuff that ThriveCart gives you, or you can import a design from the public library. You could click that and put in the link. You have to know the link for the thing, the template or whatever. Once you've created designs, you can share your designs with other people, which probably gives you a link, which other people would be able to do here. So that's a thought. If you can share templates in ThriveCart, potentially you can make affiliate money from other people using your affiliate for ThriveCart to make some of this money back. But we don't have any of that, so we're just going to start with the launch editor. And we're going to open that up. So this is the view for an embedded cart, meaning it can be embedded on any page, probably in most website builders. This is not limited to Squarespace, but I am going to be specifically showing you how to put it in Squarespace. So here you have a two-stage customer and payment setup or whatever. This is a multi-step checkout. Most people that use ThriveCart, I feel like, probably a personal opinion, use the single step option because that means less pages, fewer clicks. Seems like a better thing for me, to me. So let's do page background color. Let's grab the background color from this with my Chrome plugin. Okay, got it. Now I have the hex code. Paste. Okay, so now this background color will match my website background color. We're going to do show section titles. That's these guys right here. Payment information. Luna! My dog was sleeping and having nightmares apparently. That's this guy right here. Payment information, contact information. So you can show or hide those titles if you want it to be minimal. I'm just going to keep them on. You can set the default font for the checkout page embed. I'm just going to do something basic like this one, which is, I don't know, Helvetica-esque. So if you click this field, now you're going to be able to come over here and customize it a bit. So we want to get the customer name. I typically like to get the customer name because I like to be able to personalize things. So I'm going to enable that field. Name field location, before email, business name disabled. I don't need that. Best practice is to not collect information you know you won't use and pretty sure you don't need. So I'm not going to collect the business name. I'm not going to collect the contact number. I have no reason to call any of these people and would never do that anyway. Customer address is disabled because I am not shipping this digital product. You can add custom fields if you want to. If you have a commerce site, you need probably, if I were a lawyer, which I'm not, so this is not legal advice, you probably need terms and conditions that are specific to having an e-commerce shop. These are different terms and conditions than the ones that are for the use of your website as a general rule. These are not the same thing, so if you have that, put it here. If you don't, go to Creative Law Shop. You can find it there. This is also not something that Termageddon provides because, like I said, this is a different set of terms and conditions that dictate how people can use this product, not how they can use your website. Two different things. Termageddon's terms and conditions are for the website of the products. So you can put that in here, URL straight to the thing. That's what I typically do. If you turn this box on, it will give them an option to get into your email list. And there is a behavior for that later for what happens if they do this. So if you want to give them the option to also sign up to your email list, then you can turn that box on. You have the chance to type out what you want it to say here. And I think you can edit it right here as well in the rich text. One thing that I have not found yet is when they click this box, it turns ThriveCart green. And that's not one of my brand colors. It's really annoying, but I don't think that I've found any way to change that. So that's rather unfortunate. If we select the payment information, you have two options. You can show them as tabs or show them as an accordion. Right now it's set to show them as an accordion, but if I switch to tabs, and then save changes. Hopefully it'll refresh. If not, we'll just exit and come back. So save changes. This is a brand new feature release, so it's still slightly quirky. Let's do a hard refresh on this. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a second. Some patience. So if we click on that again, now you can see that it's selected on tabs. The active color can be changed. So let's say you want to make it some other color than that bright ass green. And you're going to change the text color to black because accessibility. And so that's about all you can customize. So the new payment options in ThriveCart give you the options to also let customers pay with something like Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna, etc. And then PayPal, and there's other options for PayPal. Here, if we click that, we can change the button color. Again, I'm going to pick, actually, I think I'm going to pick black. This is the demo product. If we turned on show image, that would be the product thumbnail most likely, or whatever you want to make it. And you can toggle it back off if you don't. This is also a deletable field if you don't want to show that. I think it's a good idea to show it. I don't know if we can move it up to the top, but I'm going to drag it up and try. Yes, okay, perfect. So at least I can see product title and price up at the top before they start doing anything. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to select a different color for the coupon code. And the final price tag is down here. So that's looking okay. If you want to add anything else to this embedded page, you could. We are trying to save space though, and remember you have a custom website where you can add that stuff out here too. So you don't need it in an embedded cart, but they are available for embed cart or like a full page cart, whichever you end up using. Now, if we click next, it's not going to leave just yet because we still have the success page. So remember what I said when we fulfill the product, we're going to show the invoice. This is what I was talking about. So you can make this look like however you want. Let's do the same embed code to make sure that background matches, just in case that matters. And let's see here, we're going to change the check. Actually, the green is fine for the check mark. I'm going to change the show PDF button. Yes. Show support button. Yes. Okay, that's fine. If you wanted to embed a video like thank you message or a GIF, celebratory kind of like confetti type of thing, someone popping a bottle, champagne, whatever you want to do, grab the HTML button here and drop it, and then click on that block and paste in your HTML code here for the embedded GIF or YouTube code or Vimeo code or whatever the embed code is. And we're going to do complete. And from here, we're going to click next. This is where you can put in your Facebook pixel, your Google Analytics ID, anything that you want to be able to track the conversions for this, figure out how many people are coming to look at it versus how many people are actually purchasing from it, that kind of thing. Now, this is the behavior. So because we turned on that thing that said, hey, we might want to add I want to add myself to the email list. We're going to add a rule. Now, my ConvertKit account is already connected to this. You would need to add your email marketing. Not every email marketing platform is available. For instance, last time I checked, Flowdesk is not an option without Zapier. But ConvertKit, MailChimp, MailerLite, ActiveCampaign, Drip, there's a few others, are a direct integration, and ConvertKit's one of those. So I'm going to do behavior. Your custom checkbox is ticked. So if they check that box, then we can add them to, and we'll click save. So that's rule number 1. When they click that, they'll be put into my ConvertKit account. If you wanted additional rules, you could add them to a sequence, and then they would get the delivery sequence. So if it was like an email course or something like that, an email challenge. But we're going to save that and get the URL because that was the last step. This is the embed code that we want. So we're going to click copy. And then we're going to go over to Squarespace on the page where we want to embed the cart. And we're going to click Edit. Then if we come down to that last section where I told you we were going to embed that cart, we're going to click on Add Block and then Embed. We're going to choose the Embed block option. And let's see how big we want to make this. I guess that's center. And then we're going to click on Edit, the little pencil icon for the Embed block. And it's not a link, so we're going to click on Code Snippet because ThriveCart wrote that code for us. Then we click Embed Data and then paste in the code right here. Now, you're not going to be able to see the cart as is while you're in edit mode because it doesn't let you do that. So if you click Save and then exit out of that window and scroll down to the bottom, you can see that the cart is embedded. And because we picked the exact X code of the background and put that in ThriveCart, it's seamless. The only place that it's not is where it overlaps this image back here, which I think is fine in this case. So now we would be able to test this product because it's still in demo or test mode. So we can put in test for the name and we can do an email. Yes, I agree to terms and conditions. That's the ugly ass green I mentioned that we can't change. Yes, please send me marketing emails. Actually, I'm going to put in my name there. Okay, we're going to choose credit card. Now, when it's in test mode, it will give you the ability to copy a fake card number to use to test the process. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to copy the card number. It says to give it any expiration date. So we're just going to do today and this year. And the CVC, any 3 digits, so 000 should work just fine. And we're going to put in a fake zip and complete the order. So we're going to let it run and do its thing. And now it's redirecting the page to the success page that ThriveCart did. So from here, they would be able to download the PDF, whatever the link is that we put there. And they could contact support from here as well. They will also get an email from ThriveCart with basically the same details and the actual invoice. So this is not the only thing that they will receive. So once you have confirmed that that works, you can double check your cart settings if you need to. If you don't have a PDF per se, you can turn that button off and it will just have the contact support button, or you can turn that off as well. If you want to control what shows up here, you can add your own button. So you just look for button down here, add one, link it to wherever you want it to go, set the full width black. That seems like it's pretty obvious, right? So if you click that, you could put your Dropbox or your Google or your ClickUp template or your Notion page or whatever it is that you're selling here in that link right there, and that's what they would see. So if we save those changes and we go back to product, when you're happy with the way that this actually functions, this is when you would take it out of test mode and put it in live mode, which would allow them to actually pay. So don't forget to do this step, because if you don't, people will put in their real credit card numbers and they won't get charged because this is a potentially test mode only product. I haven't actually tested that theory because they give you a fake card number. So maybe people would follow the instructions, use the fake card number, put in fake information, get your product for free and never tell you about it. I don't know. So just to put it in live, that's literally all you have to do. Edit the product settings, click on live, save, and get URL. You don't have to do anything else because we've already embedded it on this page. And as soon as we refresh, that warning across the top will be gone. So if we just refresh and prove that I am not lying, if we scroll down, there we go. So the warning is now gone. The checkout is here. You can see if they click the other options, whatever is specific to using that payment option is what shows up underneath. So I think that's pretty cool. If at some point you want to edit the cart to be some kind of different option, go straight to the page with a button or an image. There are other options with embeddable carts. But if you wanted to change the style of cart, you can edit checkout. Let's do exit without saving. Okay, so we want to go back to the checkout type and select a different type. So if you did standard and then clicked next, it would take you back into design. And now the editor would show you a standard checkout instead of an embed checkout. So you can change it once you've created the product, but you can't use more than one option at any given time. And if you select it back on a standard cart page, so for example, if we saved that change and then we came back over here and it was still using the embed code, potentially that would give you some trouble. Yeah, so it actually seems to have broken. It looks like it's still technically working, maybe, but the embed is not the right size. It'd be hard to use. And yeah, so if you change the style of cart, just make sure that you go back and do something in the design that is appropriate to what you just changed it to. So as you can see, this is sort of a complex process. You don't really want to do this with something like an actual shop. So if you wanted to use the shop structure of Squarespace with ThriveCart, that's when it becomes more difficult because there's nothing in Squarespace that says, if I show this button, I can point it to anything other than a Squarespace checkout. So the easiest thing to do is to hide that button with CSS and replace the button with a link you create that goes to the ThriveCart checkout instead. And that is how I am doing that on my website. It is tedious, especially if you have a lot of products. I don't yet, and it has still become a little bit tedious, but it is possible. And I want to show you how to do that really quickly. So here in the product details, you could, for example, do like maybe a heading 4 and say add to cart and link that to the cart URL in ThriveCart. For this example, I'm just going to link it to google.com. And we're going to open it in a new window so that they don't lose their place in the website. Save, apply. There we go. Okay, save. So now we have just added a heading 4 link, which is hideous, but you can use CSS to style this later. So you can put the link here, quantity and whatever would be underneath it. That's going to be part of how this works. The quantity, in fact, we can hide altogether as well because that will not be related to the ThriveCart cart. So whatever they put in here is not going to show up over there. So if we add that, now we need to go over to CSS. So we go into design and then custom CSS. And we're going to, so in here, if you click on this little arrow doohickey thing, it will let you hover over the website preview to select the thing that you want to inspect. And I'll put this in the description so you don't have to do this yourself if you're just super nervous about it. Copy and paste. Now, this is going to be really hard, so pay close attention. I'm joking. Display none important. That was tough, wasn't it? If I give you that snippet, you'll be able to copy and paste it without needing the inspect tool. Now we need to do the same thing for the quantity. So we're going to look for that in the inspect tool as well. I want to try to grab the entire thing. So let's look for that. That should be this. So we'll try that first. And instead of writing that again, I'm just going to copy this and replace that. Haha, there we go. So now we have successfully hidden the quantity and the add to cart button in Squarespace. But that is for all products. So if you have some products that you want people to check out through Squarespace and others that you don't, that method will hide it for everything. To hide the quantity and the add to cart button for all Squarespace products, if you want to be able to use the shop in Squarespace as a front lobby for your products, and then they actually check out through ThriveCart. So you can control delivery options, payment options over there. This is how you would set it up in Squarespace. You would go into the edit product. Let's get rid of that. If you want to do an embedded one, that's where you would get rid of the link. Click on additional info. And in here, you would want to add an embed block and embed the code the same way we did in the other page of Squarespace. Keep in mind that when you're using this area, this does not yet use Fluid Engine. This is still using Classic Editor, and for whatever reason, it has been extremely tricky to manage. It's very glitchy. You often tend to have to click off of things and on top of things and apply and then come back in. So don't come in here with the hopes that you can do this crazy design, because it's going to absolutely kick you in the ass. But you can do a simple embed block and go over to the code snippet, paste in the code snippet. If you click off of it, it will actually go away. And if I apply this and save the change, now when I look at the Squarespace preview, we're going to see everything up here the way that we thought. We deleted the link up here in the excerpt, and if they scroll down, they'll actually see it would not be messed up had I not changed it in ThriveCart back to a standard cart page instead of the embed page, but it would show the whole add to cart checkout option right here on the product. And then underneath that, you can put in whatever additional details you want, or you could do a split screen layout and put the embed cart over here and more information over here, or vice versa. There are lots of options for using this. So you just have to make sure that during the testing process, whatever you set up does actually function, and then go back into the product in ThriveCart and change the publish thing here from test mode to live when you're ready for people to actually pay for it, and then you will be all set to go. I know on the surface that seems very complex, but it's actually very simple once you get in the routine of doing it. You just have to remember in which software are they doing what, and where are they going after they do that thing. That's really all you need to think about. And it helps sometimes if you map it out using sticky notes or a whiteboard or something like that. So just plan it out so that it feels seamless to the customer. Test it out lots of times until you're comfortable with it and you know what to expect, and then you'll be ready to go. Unfamiliar with ThriveCart, you can learn more about it in my favorites at launchthedamnthing.com/favorites. I have a mini review on what I think of the software. This is something that I use for multiple products. As you saw, I have my own account, and I really enjoy using it. It might feel a little bit dated and ugly to use. Quite frankly, that's coming from a designer like myself who appreciates pretty things, but it is so powerful. And once you get in there and start moving around, it's actually fairly easy to use. You just have to get used to it and how it's developed, basically. But new features are coming out. It's worth every penny. It is not a subscription cost, so that's like incredible when we're getting subscriptioned to death. And if it interests you and you want to test it out for yourself, unfortunately, that I'm aware of, there is no free trial for it, so you do have to pay for it up front. But I do have an affiliate link. If you go to their website, you can get their one-time lifetime discount option, which is essentially pay for it one time for lifetime access, which is what I did. Rather than whatever they're going to move to in the future, which is probably going to be a subscription. So get your hands on it while you can. And then you'll have it in your back pocket for things like creating your own affiliate program and managing automatic affiliate payouts, creating your own products with details like these. You can even do physical products and link it with shops like Printful. You can create basic sales funnels with it. They even have product countdown timers that are related to sale pricing and stuff like that. So really complex software that you can start using minimally with what I showed you today if you're interested. And if you're not, I have no idea why you just watched this video. Just saying. All right, so I hope that helps. I'm curious to see what you come up with. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Bye.